Hello guys, and welcome to a new WARNO video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I'm excited to share with you a first look at the 336th Marine Brigade, a new Soviet division available in the upcoming LANDJUT DLC. Let's jump on in. Just to note, what you see today is a work in progress and therefore subject to change. We're going to go through all of the units and I'll put together a quick deck. So starting here in the Logistics tab, we have ourselves the BAV 485. It is an amphibious supply vehicle with 500 supply, 60 km/h off-road, 90 km/h on-road. Of course can swim, it's amphibious, 25 points, 12 on a card. Interesting unit, probably not something you'd take if you have other options, for example, the ZIL 131, which is a truck with 1,500 supply, so slightly more than a Ural. Urals usually have 1,000 and you have 6 on a card. In this case you have 1,500 supply and 4 on a card with 50 points, 65 km/h off-road, 90 km/h on-road. It's a pretty solid truck to use. And we've got the PTS-2, which is another really cool unit, amphibious supply, 2,000 supply per unit, 60 points, 3 on a card, 55 km/h off-road, 75 km/h on-road. Its speed is certainly lacking, but a pretty cool unit for sure. And then, even cooler than that, we have ourselves the Kalmar. Look at this thing, big old hovercraft, very cool indeed, and has double NSVT guns on the front there, that little turret. Super cool unit to be added to this game. It goes 50 km/h on or off-road. It carries 10,000 supply, 115 points, and it is amphibious. Yeah, very cool. And another example of a mobile fob. I'm gonna love seeing these driving around. Super cool. Alright, moving on, we have ourselves the Mi-14 PS, which is another cargo helicopter. We got 1,500 supply, 205 speed. It's okay. Honestly, if you want some quick supply, it's certainly an option, and I love the model, it looks really cool. Alright, moving on to leaders, we have ourselves the option of the little Jeep, 60 km/h off-road, 100 km/h on-road, 85 points. You get 3 on a card at 2 vet, which is nice. I think it allows you to capture sectors slightly faster. And then we also have the Chaika, which would probably be my preference in almost all cases. Having that little bit of extra armor makes it more resilient against artillery. It also has double the health. You've got more speed off-road, same speed on-road. Yeah, overall much more resilient, much more useful in general. Alright, moving on to the infantry tab. We have ourselves the first of the machine gun teams. So this is just a PKM. They're not too great, I don't believe. If it's like an NSVT, it might be a little bit different. We've got the grenade launcher. I think grenade launchers did get a nerf at some point, but still decent fire support when you need them. And we have ourselves the Morskoy Pekhoty, which have the first of those black outfits, which gave this division its name, the Black Death. So that's kind of cool. I like the outfits for sure. The uniforms, I should say, not outfits. 4 strength, shock, resolute, leader. Don't have smoke. Kind of a letdown. But they do have a MAV, which is an amphibious like Jeep. And then they've got the BTR 60PB as an option as well. And we have the Morskoy Pekhoty. These guys have the AKS 74s, RPK 74, and Satchel. So it's a 5-man Satchel team. I feel like these are going to be mostly dead before they even get close enough to throw the Satchel, unfortunately. They do have Shock, Resolute, MTLB, BTR 60PB. The only way I can really see these being useful is if you're unloading directly onto the enemy, which requires you to get kind of close enough to do that without getting destroyed by AT. So that's probably not going to happen. But these guys are a lot better. The Morskoy RPO with the RPO-A thermobaric launcher, which is pretty cool. Well, it's an incendiary rocket launcher, not thermobaric. It leaves some flames on the ground. and pretty good for chunking infantry squads. And for 40 points, it's a reasonable price, especially considering it has Shock Resolute. You can also bring them in with the BTR 60PB, and having a lot of these BTRs hanging about can really melt infantry squads. We have the AT squad. These guys have the RPG-29 with 21 penetration, 750 meter range, 60% accuracy. It's a nice AT weapon. It does struggle for rate of fire because it has to be reloaded, but it is still a decent choice. And it's only 35 points. You get 9 on a card. You can bring them in with the truck or the BTR again. I don't hate it. Moving on, we have the Pekhoty. So this is the leader. They have an Igla, which is actually a pretty nice AA unit or AA to have on a leader, because most of the time we've seen any AA on leaders be more like Strellas, whereas this is an actually decent manpad. And then we got smoke grenades as well. So yeah, 5-man squad that can defend itself against like helicopters or just like shoot down recon that gets too close. It's pretty nice. I actually don't mind it. UAZ, BTR 60PB or the BTR 80 are your choices. The BTR 80, slightly more armor, but otherwise pretty much same stats. It's actually a slightly faster off-road as well. Then we have the Morskoy Pekhoty 7-man infantry squad. These have RPG 18s, which are very fast firing, I guess fire and forget. AT weapons, which are pretty useful. 50% accuracy, only 13 penetration, but usually you're going to want to like fire these into the side armor, if anything, and they're going to also be used to clear up enemy sort of APCs or IFVs. So 35 points, not terrible, honestly. But no, interestingly enough, there's like no resolute trait on this one. But there is resolute trait on this one. So a 9-man squad with AK-74s, an RPK-74, so one lighter machine gun, and then an RPG-22, 50 points resolute. It's all right. The fact that you can bring them in with the BTR-80 is kind of nice. I do like the fact that the BTR-80, I guess the other big thing actually to point out, BTR-80 has smoke, whilst the BTR-60PB does not. So that's also another big thing. An 8 to 10 health. Yeah, this transport is very, very good for an extra 5 points. I would always pick the BTR-80 over the BTR-60PB. And then you got the Morskoy Pekhoty squad, the standard ones with 9 men but an RPG-7 VR. So more penetration, accuracy, but you're lacking a little bit of range there, and rate of fire is much worse. So more alpha damage, less DPS, I would say, is probably a good way to go to sort of look at that. Regardless, plenty of squads available with those. And for 55 points, do I think they're worth it? I don't know if they should be more expensive than the other ones. And they also can't come in with the BTR-80, which is interesting. Alright, moving on, we have the Pekhoty SVD squad. So it's a 10-man squad, but they don't have any AT. I don't know how I feel about squads like this. I feel like they really lack a proper role, because light arms fire on its own takes way too long to kill enemy infantry. So usually you're killing enemy infantry with tanks, with support weapons like grenade launchers, or even like the heavier machine guns on your APCs and IFVs. You're not necessarily killing infantry with infantry, unless it's like maybe a Sapali RPO, or you can get close enough to run satchels. But in this case, there's just not going to be much DPS there. For 45 points, resolute, it's okay, but they need a launcher desperately. Otherwise, they're never going to be used. We have the Morskoy Pekhoty. These guys have an SVD, interestingly enough. So this is a 10-man squad. This is a 14-man squad. They have 11 AKSs, 2 light machine guns, SVD, and then the RPG-7VL. So they've got decent range and penetration on that RPG. Low rate of fire, though. But really nice chunky squad for sure. I like this. They have an option to come in with the ZIL or even the PTS. I'm not sure if the PTS would be a good choice just because it's kind of slow, but it does have a decent amount of health. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. what transport you'd bring there, whether it be the ZIL or the PTS, because the PTS is only 10 points as well. It's really cheap. Okay, moving on, we have the SPG-9 as an option to bring in. I think when you stack these, like 2 or 3 in a building, they can be very effective, but they become a really easy arty target when you do that. And we also have the airborne variant, so you're paying an extra 5 points to be able to forward deploy these. Then there's the Fargo M. So this is 17 pen, 2,450 meter range, 55% accuracy. These can be forward deployed, which is certainly going to be something you want to consider. And then you've also got the Conquers, which is 20 pen at 2,625 meter range, 55% accuracy. It's a really decent upgrade, the Conquers, from the Fargo M, but in this case, you're losing the airborne trait, which kind of makes me think you'd probably want to take 1 card of each rather than just Conquers. We've also got the Descent Morskoy Pekhoty here, which is actually a really nice leader squad. Unfortunately, only 2 available. Makes me wonder if you'd want to bring them, but especially considering like their transports are kind of trash as well. But 6 AKS RPG 7VM. It doesn't have the penetration, but it still has the range and the accuracy, which is nice. And then smoke grenades. Smoke grenades is the thing that makes me like this squad the most. You got shock, resolute, airborne trait on those. And then we got Descent Morskoy Pekhoty. So 11-man squad with an RPG 18. Can be forward deployed. Pretty scary, actually. I mean, if we compare these to these, for example, you're adding like an extra 4 men. And you're getting the traits. You're getting the shock trait in this case. You're not actually getting resolute trait, which is kind of sad, but yeah, these are so much better. And then we got the Morskoy Pekhoty with the RPG 7VM. They also have the resolute trait, but they're only 9-man squads. Okay, interesting. Yeah, the way that like the resolute is or isn't there is kind of weird to me. But ultimately, both squads are going to be very good. And then finally, we have the Special Forces, the Spetsnaz. So 10 AKS 74Us, 2 PKMs, and incendiary napalm launcher. Well, these are like the ultimate anti-infantry, aren't they? Let's be honest. Special Forces shock trait. That's going to be a real beefy squad to kill enemy infantry in close ranges. I like that it's so specialized. They're going to be super strong. Very nice. Alrighty, moving on to the artillery. Starting off with the Battlegroup. This is actually pretty useful for like laying smoke quickly. It's also going to be able to do some better damage once the rework comes through. Unfortunately, I don't really know when the rework is going to be live for you guys, so apologies about that. But yeah, I like it as a sort of towed option, the Battlegroup. And then you've also got the 120 mil. So the Battlegroup has 5,000 meter range, 1 HE. This is 6,000 meter range, 1.5 HE. The Battlegroup's probably better still. Then we have like a non-out. It's like a Zverestelka. Okay. The amphibious mortar, 120 mil. 2.2 HE, 10k range. Also has a 20 pen heat round. That seems very high. 1,925 meter range, 40% accuracy. This could bonk some stuff at close range, for real. Huh. Interesting unit. But yeah, primarily a mortar. Then we got the Gvozdka. Classic, we've seen these plenty of times before. 122 mil gun with 2.2 HE at 15k range. It's alright. And then finally, we got a Grad. So 122 mil rocket Grad. 1.22 damage with the 15k range. Of course, decent rate of fire. 36 rockets available. I wonder how many does it shoot? Does it shoot server length is 36, so it fires all 36 at once. So you probably want to manually stop it halfway through if you're just like picking off 1 or 2 units every now and then. Otherwise, just unleash that full salvo. And moving on to the tank tab. Conkers. BRDM2 Conkers. Quite like these, honestly. 6 on a card. They have a little bit of armor, only a tiny bit of health, unfortunately. But yeah, the Conkers is decent, and you get the good stealth. And they're also pretty quick, so you can get them into like some really interesting positions very fast and kind of catch out your opponent with these. I like them a lot, especially in pairs where you can like get like double side shots some occasionally and stuff like that. Pretty cool unit to use. I have fun with them. Then we got the Rapira, solid AT gun. It's got a Bastion ATGM, so 18 pen at 2,800 meter range, which can really catch out enemy vehicles. Of course, it's not mobile at all, so it is extremely vulnerable to artillery. But if you don't sell the MTLB or move the MTLB away, you can use it to reposition the gun after it fires. And whilst that can be like kind of micro-intensive, it's still a very reasonable strategy to do. Then we have the T-55. So this is the T-55 AMK, which does it have a non-leader variant? I don't know if it does, because I guess this is the non-leader variant, but the non-leader variant gets the Bastion, the leader variant does not. So it's kind of difficult to compare them. Regardless, in terms of the main gun, 15 pen at 2,100 meter range, 60% accuracy, 9 rate of fire. The rate of fire is a little bit low, and the speed is kind of low. 50 kilometers off-road, 75 kilometers on-road. Armor's okay. Yeah, penetration's okay for that range. Bear in mind you have range scaling, so the closer you get, the higher the penetration. But yeah, having a Bastion on your tank is really nice for 150 points, I will say that much. The leader is a bit underwhelming. Then we have the AMV, which is looking to be pretty much the same other than the explosive reactive armor. I'm kind of curious if there's something I'm missing here, because why would the AMV be less expensive than the T-55 AM? The armor. It's the armor. Okay. So it has less armor but more health. So only 11 front and 6 side. This has 14 front. I thought this was kind of high for the price because, yeah, it seems like this 14 front armor is actually pretty good for a T-55. And then this would be like more normal. So like 11 front armor, but you do get explosive reactive armor, so you have 11 health instead. Yeah, looks cool as well. I don't know what it is about explosive reactive armor on tanks, but I feel like sometimes it can make them look really cool if it's placed properly. Then we have the AMD, which is going to be having the first of the APS systems in the game. Interesting. So we got 12 front armor, smoke launcher. You got the 15 pen gun with 2,100 meter range. You got the same Bastion gun. You got the Dushka, but instead of the PKT, which might technically be there still, or is it not? Regardless, there's APS. So we have this Drozd system, which I think is this on the side. And the way it works is it's a 50% accurate weapon that I assume can take out ATGMs. So, Active Protection Systems protects its host unit only against guided missiles within a short interception range in 180 degrees forward arc. The defensive charges can be damaged or can damage nearby friendly infantry. Okay. It's going to be something you want to use more out in the open. I like it actually a lot. For 10v10s, especially on a map like Rift, for example, or even like Dark Stream or a lot of those sort of open areas, these are going to be super good because they're going to be much stronger against APS, or sorry, against ATGMs. So super cool unit, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. Then we have the Recon tab. So we've got the Rheostat, which is an exceptional optics armored vehicle with Resolute trait again. 60 kilometers per hour off-road, 75 kilometers per hour on-road. I mean, it's an exceptional optics vehicle for 25 points. It's okay. Like, it's pretty good, to be honest. I kind of like those vehicles, especially if they accompany your tanks and such. BRDM, always a solid unit. KPVT, I think people underrated these for a while. They have started to be used more often, I think. But yeah, the KPVT, this was always a unit that in the campaigns would wreck me, because I didn't kind of underestimated the machine gun damage that these can put out. So they're pretty good at killing infantry, and they've got really good speed as well. So can zip around, be good recon. ET-76, however, kind of trash. 40 kilometers per hour off-road, super slow. 75 kilometers per hour on roads, all right. But yeah, 10 pen, 50% accuracy, 1,925 meter range. You're not going to be doing damage to much, honestly. Maybe kill a few APCs or IFVs here and there that have low armor, but otherwise that's going to be a pretty poor choice. Right, we got Rozvitka, so a 4-man team with RPG-22, which is actually kind of nice because it's got an extra 2 penetration over, I think it's the RPG-18. So same range, same accuracy, but the extra pen there actually makes a big difference. So really solid recon squad for forward deploying. Can be brought in with the MAV or the MI2. And then we got the Morskoy Rozvitka. These guys have the AS Vals, VSS, and the RPG-16, which has 13 penetration but much longer range, 1,025 meters range, but only 40% accuracy at max range. So yeah, this could really reach out and touch stuff in the side armor, which is going to be kind of scary, but super nice unit. Resolute shock, airborne, can forward deploy that massively. And then we have Parasniki, 5 AKs, SVD, and an RPG-26, which is even better than the Morskoy Rozvitka's RPG-22, in that it's still got that like fire and forget rate of fire, or yeah, fire and forget, I guess it is. 70%, over 70% accuracy because of the veterancy. Yeah, pretty nice. Special Forces, shock trait, GSR as well. So you're pushing that optics to exceptional when you're stationary. This is a very nice squad. Recon means it can be forward deployed to the recon length, but not the airborne. Still really good. Can be brought in with the ZIL 131, the MI2, or the MI8 MTV. You accompany your Spetsnaz in the infantry tab with these. Such a nasty combo. Alright, MI14 PL. Really decent helicopter with exceptional optics, and then we got the T55 AMD Recon as well. Okay. Alright, well, that's a solid tank for sure. 180 points is starting to get a bit expensive for 12 front armor, but still, having good optics on a tank is so nice. Especially with a gun that has 15 pen at 2,100 meter range. And you've also got a Bastion HGM, so you can spot things and kill them at a distance. You can mix these in with your other tanks. You got the Dushka, you got the Drozd APS as well, to help it be more survivable against HGMs. Huge, absolutely huge. You only get 1 card, and there's 2 on a card, but that is a must pick for the Recon tab. Alright, then we got the Iglas for the AA as we move on. So Igla teams, looks like we've got basically a forward deployable Igla team or a standard Igla team. It really kind of depends. Like in 1v1, there's going to be situations where you want the forward deploy Igla, and then there'll be times when you don't. It really will be like deck dependent in 1v1. Whereas like 3v3 or 4v4, it probably doesn't really matter that much. You just bring in the cheaper one. As for the Su-23-2, they're okay. I feel like there's just better choices in this division, unfortunately, especially since there's no like interesting transport. And then we got the Borusa, which is a better choice. You can see the difference here in range. So having an extra like 200-meter range against helicopters and an extra 1,000-meter range almost against aircraft is pretty big. Barusa really nice for finishing off low health aircraft, or at least chipping them enough that like 1 or 2 missiles can finish the job. And then Strela 10M. Strela 10M, always solid. It is as accurate on the move as it is stationary, so that's always nice as well. Of course, the AA tab in this case, you can see, is lacking long-range anti-air, but I guess you can't have everything. Helicopter, Ka-29 joins the party. I can't remember if this is already in another division, but it looks freaking cool. I don't know what it is about this helicopter. It's such an interesting design. Gets the Gushka, which is the sort of minigun thing in the front. Then you got the AT rockets and attacker missiles. 25 pen, 2,800 meter range, 55% accuracy, and these things move. They're pretty fast. So that is a solid helicopter actually to put in your heli tab. All right, then we have aircraft. So we got MiG-21 SMT to begin with. It has R3Rs and R13s. The R3R is a semi-active missile that can only target aircraft, so 4,275 meter range, whereas the R13 can be fired at both helicopters and aircraft. Still has that 5 HE, which is nice. So you're almost always two-shotting if you can get both on target. Overall, the loadout is kind of like lackluster, but 10% ECM, 1,125 kilometers speed. If you bring these out in pairs, at least, you know, you might be able to get some stuff done. Then we got a Su-17 with rockets, 120mm S13 rockets. Another solid choice for 1v1, probably not so much for team games, just because AA density is much higher in team games, so you get less value out of these rocket planes. But R60, kind of nice for shooting down enemy helicopters, especially since you have like 30% ECM. The twin cannon plus R60 kind of makes this a bit of a multi-role. We got the Su-17 with cluster, always a solid choice. Like 6 500 kilogram cluster bombs are going to wipe out most tanks. So great for when you can catch out the enemy putting a couple of heavies too close together. And then we've got the HE variant, which is 6 500 kilogram HE bombs, another really solid choice for just wiping out swaths of infantry. So yeah, decent choices. And then we've got the MiG-23 MLD. Has 2 semi-active R24Rs, which have 7,775 meter range with 45% accuracy and 6 HE. And then it's got 4 R60s, which only have 4 HE, but decent accuracy, 2,125 meter range against helicopters and 3,525 meter range against aircraft. It's pretty fast, 1,125 kilometers per hour speed with 20% ECM. Like, it's a solid air-to-air. And you've got another loadout that gives you R24 MRs, which have more accuracy, and also R73s, which have more accuracy. But instead of having 4 of them, you've only got 2. So you're losing quantity for quality. And I think that could be a good choice, especially if you're doubling these up. 65% accuracy on the infrared is really nice, especially if you're killing helicopters. And then we move on. We got a very cool aircraft. Look at this. The Tupolev 22 PD. It's a electronic warfare plane. Looks so badass. So 1,000 kilometers per hour speed, 60% ECM. Electronic warfare, which basically reduces the enemy's radar accuracy by 20%, and it can spot enemy radar units with their radar turned on. So you can bring these in, spot the radar AA, and then actually bomb them or rocket them with like something like a Su-17. So like a really nice combination would be like bring out the Tupolev 22 first, and then follow it up with like 3 Su-17s. And when you spot enemy radar firing, or, you know, just spot it anyway. You can just target them directly with the Su-17s and kill them really fast. And usually you're going to get good value out of the Su-17s doing that, because radar AA can be quite costly. So like 155 points will pay itself off pretty quick, especially if they get out and you can do it twice. Then we've also got the Tupolev 22 KDP, which comes with 18 Fab 500 bombs. This is going to be super fun to use because those are pretty decent bombs as well. 1,000 km/h speed, 40% ECM. Oh, that's going to be juicy. Right, then we have the Su-24, which comes with 6 500 kg napalm bombs. The Su-24 is another really good aircraft. It got buffed massively a while back, where its turn radius is way better than it used to be because it has that exceptional agility now. But 30% ECM is really nice. 1,000 km/h speed is good enough, and yeah, nice payloads on these. So 6 incendiary bombs. There's going to be 8 250 kg cluster bombs. I would almost always go for the Su-17 over this one. Yes, it's much cheaper, but you're not going to kill anything. 8 500 kg bombs. HE, that's nice. So the Su-24 in this case would be a better choice than the Su-17 M4. So that's something to consider for sure. And then we've got the Su-24 with 1,500 kg electro-optical guided bombs. So yeah, pretty solid laser guided bomb unit for killing heavier tanks. If you're up against like a division that has a lot of good heavy tanks, like 3rd Armoured, for example, with the M1A1HAs, you can just one-shot them with these bombs, which is super nice. And then you've also got a Su-24 with Seed, which is a very good Seed aircraft. 30 penetration, it's going to kill anything. Yeah, you've got 2 shots, 60% accuracy, 1,000 km/h speed, or 60% ECM, sorry. Really, really nice Seed aircraft. And it can turn really, really quick. So it can unleash at max range and get out of there. All right, really solid air choices. Let's go back and build a quick deck. So starting here, we've got to bring in the Kalmars, right? Surely. I'm going to probably just bring in one of them. We'll bring in the Zil, and I might bring in the Bavs as well, just because I kind of need like one that can run backwards and forwards to take supply from the Kalmar. Whereas the Zil 131s I'll probably just use on the front line. And then we'll use some Chikers. All right, for the infantry tab, we definitely want to probably go Spetsnaz. And then I'm thinking we do need more leaders, and I'm not sure where I want to get them from, because I think the tank tab's going to be pretty tight, so maybe I want to put them in the infantry tab. In terms of leader choices, I kind of like the AA. I think we'll go with these 65 points, put them in a VTR 80, seems like a good choice. So maybe I'll go for like another card here, but that's going to be 3 activation points. We'll see. I'm definitely going to bring in both of these. I think that it's well worth it. Do I want to have... I might just go with these, because they have Resolute and Shock, and Resolute is so nice. I will definitely go Conquers Fargo, and then we'll do probably some of these, get those in there for sure. It's only 1 card, but the 14 on each card, we'll keep them with the PTSM. It's slow, but it's okay. And then thinking RPG 22 infantry with BTR 80s would be nice. Do I need some close range Sapadi RPO? Probably not if we're running double Spetsnaz. Although that is nice that we'd have so many. Yeah, we'll run it like that. Cool. So I've got all my airborne units on this side. Let me just move that over here. So all the airborne units there, and then all of the standard units here. That's how I like to build it up. All right, let's try out these grads, of course. We'll pop in a Vassalok. And do I want to try this thing? We're just going to be like the Nonna, so I'm not going to bother. Then we've got the tank tab. We just bring in all the tanks. Plus a BRDM. Do I want a Repeller? Maybe not in this deck. We're definitely putting the T-55 Recon in there. Put these Paddlesneaky in there. This is going to be a tough choice. I guess we take the Descent Moskadazudka. Recon helicopter's nice. Maybe BRDMs. That was a 3-pointer though for the last one. I would definitely go Strela, Barusa, Moskva Igla, Air-29. It's going to take 2 of those. And then Air Tab. We'll go Seed. I definitely want to try out this big bomber. Do I want to try it out with the ECM as well? We could do like ECM rockets like this. With one more. I kind of feel like I need Blaster though. Something like that would be better. And then if I'm not taking the E-War version, then I should take another aircraft that isn't the rocket planes. I don't have any ASF either. Right, let's go for MiG-23 MLDs. Well, this air tab is like super spicy. It's a real shame that I can't fit in more. I will take that out of there. I'm only looking at like 5 leaders at the moment, which is not good. I think we'll just double leader in the logistic tab. I don't like it because I feel like there's a lot of options that I'm missing here. But it seems fun. Seems fun. Alright. 336th Marine Brigade. Looking like a really fun deck to build. I'm going to have to mess around with it for sure and get like a really nice build out of it. But otherwise, quite well balanced. Decent amount of tanks, especially considering they all have bastions. Like, this is going to have no trouble in the open. And then it's also got the KA-29s, which have the attacker, which is super nice. You got grad support. You got really cool logistics, which just gives you like sort of aura, you know. So yeah, I'm liking the 336th a lot. I think it's a really exciting division. Both the Marine divisions have been fantastic to look at. I'm really looking forward to giving them a go. Well, that's it from me for now. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.